Yuzvendra Chahal. The story is about him. He was unhappy when RCB did not retain him ahead of the 2022 IPL mega auction. And he has opened up about his frustration when RCB did not retain him ahead of the 2022 IPL mega auction after he played for them for 8 years. That's not all. RCB didn't even bid for him. He was bought by Rajasthan Royals for 6.5 crores and the other bidders were Mumbai Indians, Delhi Capitals and Sunrisers Hyderabad. Chahal, in a YouTube interview to Ranveer Allahabadiya, he says that there were rumors about him saying he'd asked for too much money. But he clarified that he had not asked for any specific amount. He said that they knew my value and I let them decide my value. But he was deeply disappointed by this franchise that he had played for and actually had done well for. I think he was the highest wicket taker for the franchise and they refused to bid for him. What was going on? There's another story today. I'm sure you both have read it because it's, I think, on Cricinfo where they're talking about the future of Mike Hesson and Sanjay Bangar, and they're not sure whether those two will be given an extension next season. But how do you see this? I've spoken to so many players who've said that as much as they want to be bought by teams, they want to play for these teams, that open auction just seems like they are cattle waiting to be bought and sold in a mela, But this itself, this can be disappointing. This can also hit your self-confidence, Jamie, what he talks about.
Absolutely. And you see the year in which he was not, as he says, surprisingly retained was also the year he also did not go to the T20 World Cup. And then the next T20 World Cup, he went there. He didn't play a single game. So there's obviously a lot of evident bitterness in what Yuzvendra Chahal says. I don't know. Kushan is probably better place to comment. We have not heard anything either from sources or in the public from RCB what the possible reason could be. But we've heard him. He spoke, of course, on that YouTube podcast. He spoke a lot more in depth than before. But he said enough things before to understand that this was a very, very bitter and shocked individual because he remains RCB's highest wicket taker. And the majority of those wickets have come at the Chinnaswamy, which anyone knows is very, very hard place to bowl to, more so if you're a spinner. So who knows what it is. In regards to what you were saying earlier about, about the report about certain changes, I think it's very, very obvious that changes have to come because this team has gone 16 seasons without coming even close to getting their hands on the trophy. And more than that, it's just repeatedly, Mike Hesson's been in charge for four seasons, I think you mentioned. The selection blunders that team keeps making. They very rightfully moved on from Virat Kohli, the captain, which is a very good call in my book, but the selection blunders keep showing up. So clearly, whatever they're drinking and eating down there in Bangalore is not resulting in anything for the fans. And what passionate fans they have, right?
Yeah.
So let's hope that Bangar and Hesson and all these guys are shown the door because they're clearly just not doing anything.
Okay, let's put those quotes up. Let's take the first quote where he's talking about how he's angry with Royal Challengers Bangalore management. He says, when I put my name up for the auction, they promised me that they will go all out for me. I said, okay, but then I was not picked. I was very angry for 2 to 3 days. When I played my first match for RR against RCB, I think, and he did well in that match. I did not speak to anyone from RCB, not even the coaches. Definitely, I felt very bad. My main journey started in 2014. I also felt very weird because I played for the franchise for 8 years. Let's also take the second quote and then I'll go to Kushan because I'm sure he has more interesting things on this. I would also say that I got the India cap because of my performances for RCB because they gave me a chance to perform. From the very first match, Virat Bhai showed trust in me. I heard things like, Yuzi ne bahut paise mang liye honge. Yuzi must have asked for a lot of money. That's why I clarified in an interview, which is an interview he'd given to R. Ashwin earlier for his YouTube channel. He says, I had not asked for any specific amount. I know what I deserve. The worst thing which I felt very bad about was that I did not receive any phone call. No one even spoke to me. I think I played around 114 games for them. I couldn't understand what happened suddenly. This is bizarre, and what is more bizarre, Kushan, is a very clear planning in not wanting to bid for him because they didn't even try. Like I said, I think there were 3 other franchises that tried to bid for him, but RCB didn't even.
Well, I never understood how you cannot have Yuzvendra Chahal in your lineup if you've had him, and how you cannot retain him. And also, it baffles me when I see him out of Indian team. I believe a leg spinner, he would get hit on the days, but he should be there in your team, in your first 11. No compromise on that front.